Yo, yo, yo. What's good, y'all? I don't know if anybody's in here quite yet, but if they are, man, that's fucking impressive because I haven't even posted anything on IG yet. So let's see. I don't think anybody's here yet, just me. So I'll wait. I'm amazingly bored today and am trying to pass the time. But we'll see. Let me get to the chat. Yeah, so yo, word, what's good? I am bored. And I've got to do something because I'm just sitting in my room, in my head, digging in the possibilities of how shitty of a person I am and blah blah blah. So, you know, got to do something different, man. Get out there and just I'll just hang out here, answer some questions if anybody decides to come through. It's like live, but it's on YouTube. So, you know. How am I doing? I'm all right, man. I'm trapped, right? So I end up being trapped in my room a lot right now because of the surgery, and then I fell down the stairs and it kind of reopened that leg, and both of my knees popped out of socket. There was blood everywhere. Shit was crazy. Um, but I think in total I'm all right. But you know, sometimes it's best to just get up and do something, even if I have no idea what I'm doing. You know. Um, but I don't know how many people are going to actually come up in here because it's some random shit on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon. So yeah, here I am. I'm just going to pour my heart out. It's like a Q&A question kind of thing. And I want to be real clear though, I don't think there's like 4 people in here. And, so, and it doesn't have to just be about sneakers. It could be about literally anything. So, I find that a lot of people, what's up? He got kicks. I find that a lot of people tend to shy away from like asking me about military topics or whatever. So, you know, like if that's something you're curious about, or you want to talk about my injuries, PTSD, whatever, feel free. That's an open thing. It's been a crazy long time. I know how it feels. It feels to be stuck. I've had 14 operations, so I get it right. So yeah, like I've been in a wheelchair for like 5 months, man. Like just since like when I went to Dallas, I had been wheelchair bound all the way up to Dallas Sneaker Con, and then I've just been stuck, man, in this stupid wheelchair, and it's annoying. It's brutal. It's defeating, and I have a hard time dealing with it because I tend to be an independent person, and I end up, you know, Veterans Day celebration. I end up being like stubborn and hard headed about it, so yeah. But yeah, so I don't know if anybody else wants to jump on with me. Hey, Forrest, you trying to jump on? Word, you want to jump on? Anybody wants to jump on with me, man? Just shoot me a DM on Instagram, man. You can come on in here with me. I'm with it. I got 8 hours to be live, so I'll just let it roll. Like I said, I don't know how many people are watching. Let's say people are watching. We got 6 watching, so what's up? And then one of them is me, so we really have 5 watching. I can invite Word. Go potty. Yeah, I'll send you the email right now. I think Word. Do I have her? No, I don't know your email. I did hit on the 5 wings, the wing 5s today, which is I tend to hit like on Ma, you want to go live with me? I tend to hit on Jordan 5s a lot. Yeah, not a question, but I love you. Hey, nah, your feet are crazy, bro. But I'm not really. All right, so I need you to send me your Gmail because I do not have it. There you go. Let me see. I'm pulling people in as so. This live is going to be a hot mess. All right, so just bear with it. At gmail.com. What's up, Shu? You want to jump on here, man, and have a conversation with me? Nothing too scripted or anything. I don't know. I don't know anybody's email. So I did get the 5 today. I did. Um, I'm super excited about them. I really wanted those pair. I wanted those pair more than like so. Like I really wanted these pair because of that. Like I didn't really care so much, but I am going. I ordered a hole punch today. It should be here on Monday. I am going to cut these janks and poke holes in it. This is my favorite OG5. You know, straight up. So yeah. And I don't know if I'm gonna send Molly Mall. Yes, I'll send him an invitation. I don't know. He got kicked. I don't know your fucking Gmail, bro. So let me try. I'll search and see if I got in here. He got kicked. Yeah, this is a super informal live or question Q&A thing. You know, I have found that over time that me talking about some of my stuff to people. Hold on 1 second. I got to answer this text message. Middle of something. So yeah, just basically, I'm just welcoming you into my world right now. So I apologize if it seems a bit weird or this is kind of like just a wonky thing. Like I don't play video games and shit like that. So what's up, Skinner? I don't play video games, so Twitch for me is kind of a strange. I couldn't do that, but I do like the idea of boarded. How is that possible? Boarded? Did I type bored? I'm bored. Yes, I am very bored. And you get Supreme. You get any Supreme Nike today? I didn't know Supreme Nike was dropping today. You know, the only thing I'm trying to get back into YouTube for real, but it's just it's difficult because I'm stuck in this bedroom day in and day out, and moving is difficult, and I tend to be I'm kind of dependent upon people to drive me from point A to point B because I'm on pain medication. And it's you know, I'm kind of stuck in the house, so I tend to be bored, and I look at my bedroom a lot, like just sitting in there. You know, so I did, and Word, I did send you the an invitation, and if anybody else wants to jump on, if anybody else wants to have a conversation, it doesn't necessarily have to be about sneakers, just about anything. You know, like I would love to get Skinner on here if he's willing to get on here. I know YouTube necessarily isn't his your thing, you know, but it'd be dope to get you on here. And anybody else who wants to join in, you know, no. It's I'm only teasing, bro. I know, man. It's just a super boring. Oh, Word is the damn worst. All right. Let me see. I got to email Word because she is the worst with she doesn't know how things work. Click the link. Yeah, this is, I mean, super informal Q&A question thing, like conversation starter. I'm just bored, man, and want to do something, talk about. Look at this dope shirt. So I got this shirt. I got this shirt from the lady who has done my icon art. She did all the art for you know, the Monday midsole. Her name is Kendall Renee. What do you think of Carter 5? I'll say, so I love the Carter 5. I have listened to it from start to beginning, probably 7-8 times, maybe. Like I love it. Like Mona Lisa is a ridiculous song. That the song with X is bananas. Like you know, I really do hate the fact that X was struck down so young and so at the beginning, at the precipice of his career. Out of all the SoundCloud rappers, little rappers that were coming, he was definitely one of my favorite. And that song that was on, yeah, Mona is bananas. But there was that song that was on God, I can't remember. Anyway, like he had this ability, like an amazing lyricism, and I would have loved to see him get the opportunity to explore that. I love the whole album from start to finish. I did hit on the Wing Fives, and they even have a place already right here. It's empty. So, there's that. I can't believe those 3 Jordan 7 lows sold out. What's your opinion? Yeah, Uproar is also really, like, there's not a song I didn't like, So they were super. They're NRG first and foremost, so you already know that they were limited to begin with. 2, I hated them. I really did. I wish they'd have kept them like retros, like just different colors rather than using the Bordeaux. I think they need to let the OGs just stay OG, keep it OG. But it's something cool. I think it has the potential to be like a dope summer shoe, but they released it in the fall. Like, I think they might look good in a pair of shorts. I don't know, man. They just weren't for me. And as it goes with Jordans right now, yeah, I don't know a single person who wanted a 7 low. I agree. I think they're trash, but I do think that there's like something to it, like people like them. I do think it had the ability to be a cool summer shoe, Hey, Mo Kicks, you might want to hit up Maul, man. Molly Maul. He wanted to get a 10.5, but I don't think this is one of those shoes that's going to be. I don't think the Wings 5 is going to be a super banging resale shoe. So but if you're letting him roll at like a reasonable price, he's your man. Word is here. Still with the titty hoodie on. What's good?
For sure.
What I am going to do is put my headphones on because it'll do the mic thing. Give me a second. Connect. Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. It's just because the thing. So, what's going on? Thanks for everybody. So everybody that's here. Definitely. They may. The Wings have the wing group. The 1 to 12 have all dropped in price. They haven't necessarily sold super well. But Maul tried to get that pair and didn't hit. So the women's battle is so much better. Word, you've been around for all 3 series, and what is your opinion so far?
Yeah, the women's battle was definitely like, I don't want to say it's better because I don't want to make the guys feel bad, but the women are definitely more descriptive and more like deeper into the stories. Because even like when I was on, the regular battle, it was like because everyone else is so short, it's just like everyone is just like, all right, this is my sneaker. Yeah. But after seeing the girls last week, I'm just like, oh man, I can't just come and be boring. I was like, I gotta come with some stories. So
the first week, I didn't notice it, but I had put all of the talkative women in the ones that stay on that group chat like day in, day out, man. We're all went on week 1, and then the quieter people, minus Gigi, you all went on week 2.
Right.
Because Gigi be staying in that motherfucker. But I do like the way, like, one, I think the knowledge of the shoe on that last group especially tend to be a significantly higher, and I think that the stories and the connections, like, because like the guys, we all had this like, I'm gonna be real cool, right? So we're all like, yo, my shoe.
Like, yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah, DBH, that kid shit, like, but so we went through, 6, right? 6 on 6, right? Mm-hmm. Or 3 on 3. And on the guys, I've had shows as short as 45 minutes. With the ladies, my shortest show has been an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 12 minutes.
Well, first of all, when you have Dee and Jixie, your show's never going to be under 30 minutes.
No. Dee by herself,
right,
is going to go.
basically.
I noticed that like Jixie was just like, shut the fuck up. Like she was just smashing her, and I was not smashing her, but like getting at her.
They got that like big sister, little sister thing, so
Yeah,
they're
they really,
all the
really
calm.
do.
So she's probably the only one that can like reel Dee Dee in.
Yeah, exactly, and that was what I saw. But I do think the guys could be a little better with the battle.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the
How it goes.
guys do. So I got some interest from Damn D. He's wanting to do it, and Tony said he was wanting to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is get a shoe tuber.
Yeah, I was about to say you should try to do all like the shoe tubers. That would be dope.
That's my plan. But you know, getting all those guys to nail down a Friday night isn't exactly the easiest.
Thing.
Yeah, and thanks so much, PGH. You know, we were already doing this on, you know, on IG, but I thought, you know, why don't we? I think this is something that would translate well into YouTube. Also, like, it's not something I'm going to be able to do forever, right? Because you're going to run out of battles,
Right?
You are. So I was thinking, like, not only doing like we have a sneaker battle, right? But we can also do a like a fucking Jeopardy, like a trivia show, you know. So I will definitely pull you in. So we still have 2 more weeks of the ladies, and then I'm gonna shoot for the shoe tuber thing, which I will be starting sometime this week coming up. So like you, like Shumanati, I'm gonna take Shumanati in on it. You know, again, Don Juan, Sniper Jones, Damn D, you know, yeah, Skip goes hard would be dope. You know, I'm gonna try to grab some folks and see how it goes, you know, but I definitely think like there's more like I would like to expand on the knowledge base part, because the knowledge base seemed to that's what really kind of got me you know, in on it. You know, like I was like, oh, that's really dope. I like when people do that, and the stories and the matching it and so on and so forth. But yeah, Skip goes hard as a damn fool. But he's also one of my like favorite. Like,
he's gonna be in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, there's so many people that are coming to Atlanta, like everybody, and I'm so excited about it.
It isn't even gonna be enough. Like,
yeah, no, like 40, 50 people. Like, it's crazy. Like, so I mean, like, it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited about it. So what I like about him is like, shoe tubers are like an amalgam of all of the sneakerheads you've ever known thrown in some YouTube folks, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Skip is truly and honestly just Skip. You know, like that's just who he is, face ass. You know, and I really appreciate that a lot. And so like a lot of the like I don't really watch a lot of ShoeTube, to be 100% honest with you. Like I don't really watch a lot of stuff about sneakerheads on. I spend a lot of my time watching science and TED Talks, and like one of my favorite channels is Nerdwriter1. So I'm in the process of doing video essays on sneakers. Like, so I've been working. That's why I've been out of the loop on YouTube for so long, is I've been working on an essay, like a video essay of you know, I can show y'all a rough draft if y'all want to see. I don't know how well it'll work with me streaming and trying to post it up, but we'll not post it, but like actually try to show this video. But I'll see if I can do it. I don't know. Can you still see me and everything?
Yeah.
All right. So just continue. Let's see. I have no idea how well this is gonna work. So bear with me. Escape. Okay. So I'm gonna let y'all see like the first like some odd minutes of it. Like I said, I don't know how well this is going to work because I'm screen sharing it. So let's see. All right. So yeah, this would be the thing. All right. So y'all are getting a first look at my I don't know. Will they be able to hear it, you think?
I want to see why not. If it's playing from your computer, it should come
Because
through.
I have my headphones on.
Molly Mall in the house.
Did he just join us? Hey. So Maul has seen pieces of this. Let's see.
What did I just walk into?
The year was 1985. I was 4 years old. See, like, can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yard, I would ride my Power Wheel across to go eat peanut butter toast. That's me in my Power Wheel.
Yeah.
Larger than I could possibly fathom. How will I know? Take on me, broken wing, we are the world. Rule the radio waves. So. Yeah. And so that's kind of the gist of it. I don't want to go too much on it, but like that's kind of, what I'm looking at. It's like, so explain the. No, it's a video essay. It's there's this guy called NerdWriter1 who creates videos, and you should definitely check him out on YouTube. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, and I feel like I've got to work on the voice, like the voiceover that I did for it. It didn't. I don't particularly care how it went. Like, I don't like the way I sound. That's like 1985 was the year, and
that's the way you sound, though. I mean, what you mean?
Right.
But no, I just sounded like very calm. Like overly calm, and I don't think.
I mean, it sounded good to me. Like, I personally hate my voice recorded.
The year was 1985.
I don't even sound close to that white, though.
What are you talking about? When you're not all amped up and excited and speaking pirate, that's what you sound like.
I don't ever sound like a pirate. I do not sound like the year was 1985.
No, it doesn't even sound like that. It sounds like, the year's 1985.
I'm glad you're here. It makes me feel good about myself.
Eating peanut butter and toast.
I love peanut butter toast, man. That shit was my jam.
Same here. I used to rock toast and jelly before football, though. That was my ish.
Bro,
peanut butter, toast, and jelly.
So I would get on that little Power Wheel. I would ride across the so we lived in a trailer, and then the trailer across from me was my great grandparents, and she would make me some peanut butter toast, and then ultimately she would piss me off. And I would be like, I'm never coming back. And I'd leave and ride across my Power Wheel, Jixie and Dee Dee is Dan and Molly. Yeah.
Not wrong.
Big facts.
Hey, you.
It's a very interesting dynamic that we have. But that's what it is when you're on the road with somebody.
Yeah, for real. And we spent, that was one of the cool, like, we spent all of the summer of 2017, like, plugging the Monday midsole, going from
summer,
to SneakerCon.
Some of the winter too. You figure we linked up in Cleveland. Then we did the Bay Area. We had Chicago, LA, New York, Atlanta.
Yeah, we went in.
It was dope.
And now look at all we got Trinidad James on the show.
I'm so excited about that.
That's all Dan.
That's my behind the scenes job is finding the guest.
Right. I waited for like a month when Dan's like, yeah, so Jay-Z's gonna be on the show next week, something like.
Well,
I'm waiting to OG. I think OG Sneakers might be hopping in here with us.
OG.
And if anybody else wants to hop in, just please do jump on in. This is supposed to be like a Q&A thing, but I don't, I'm not cool enough for people to be like, I want to know questions. I have questions. So let's see if we can get. I mean, I feel like we always need an old guy. We always gotta have an old person. So let's bring in OG Sneakers.
Here, I just want to share a little something.
Do that shit
that I saw today. Let me. It's in my story if anyone wants to check it out. That's the boy Malcolm Jenkins. Some Under Armour cleats. Can you see what it says?
You gotta back it up a little bit, I think.
Like a U-Haul?
You aren't listening.
Might be inverted. Yep. You aren't listening. I mean, damn, that's powerful. Malcolm, he's from Piscataway. That's where I'm from. And he's been one of the players who is still, following and continuing the message and the fight that Kaepernick he started a few years back. So much respect to that dude.
There's two E's in that.
The EE?
Yeah, OG's email.
You guys think Kaepernick get picked up?
I don't know. I think it's a perfect story if he goes back to San Francisco.
Right.
Jimmy G just went out. The backup is trash. I don't know. See, I don't know what type of football shape he's in, though.
I'm sure he's in amazing shape.
No. Football shape. Amazing shape, yes. He's a build. He's an athlete. He's got an athletic build, but is he ready to play football? Is my question. Because there's no point coming out there if you haven't, really touched a rock in a couple years and then stick it up the joint. Because it's going to be highly scrutinized, but it's a perfect setting for him to get the job back in San Francisco. They got the big old advertisement there, right above Nike, in the Bay. So,
I'm sure that he is going to wherever. I'm sure he's touched the ball. I'm sure he's been at it, man. Like this, to say that he hasn't been, I think it's not
a comeback story. I said I don't know.
I mean,
well,
I would love for
he had 2 shitty years back to back,
a year and a half.
Right. So I mean that rookie season, when he I don't know if it's his rookie.
He had better talent when he came in and replaced Alex Smith.
Right, and so and that's right. So originally, when all of this shit first started, I was like, of course he didn't get picked up, not because of the knee thing, but because of the season and a half before. It was bad. Right. But to watch Chicago cut, what the fuck was homeboy's name? What's his name?
Cutler.
Jay Cutler. To what? Hey, OG sneakers in the
house. Family.
So to watch that happen, and then the continued ostracizing of him is when I was like, okay, it's not about the fact that he had a crappy season and a half.
No. There were plenty of quarterbacks who had jobs. RG3 after even worse season than Kaepernick. Like RG3 is trash.
Like not even be a backup, not in at all.
Can't even be the backup.
Like
his health is raw. Like it's horrible.
I'm Bowie's backup. I'm third string.
I'm still trying to figure out how Cousins weaseled that money out of Vikings.
Cousins is a beast, yo.
Cousins' numbers are beast mode, but I was watching Undisputed or something, and they were saying how his numbers are padded, but if you look at it, he doesn't have a playoff win. He's been to the playoffs. He's only thrown one playoff touchdown.
He played for Washington, which, let's face it, that's a big factor.
I mean, but they were doing good that year when they went to the playoffs with Jordan Reed and everything.
Yeah, because of him. And then, exactly, Jordan Reed can't stay healthy. He trips over a candy bar.
I would like to talk more about. Okay, so this isn't the Monday Midsole, and I do not make my politics hidden on my channel. Yeah, Q&A definitely turned into a. Where you get Yeezys, Dan? Local. I got them from a local. This is my channel, and I refuse to keep my politics hidden. Right. And I 100% believe that if Kaepernick was a white man with the antics and standing up for what he's doing and all the things, he would still be at San Francisco.
Oh yeah, if he took a knee for abortion or some other political, controversy, he would still have a job. They would rock with him. He would have so much more support. It's a totally different dynamic.
Right, and so as a white man on the outside, it's something I was trying to explain to my kids the other day. Talking about, because we were watching, I made them watch the Kavanaugh hearing. Because I wanted my daughter to see what that looked like for a woman to stand in front of, to show that kind of bravery, in the face of adversity. But what it ended up being was what white privilege looks like, right? Like Kavanaugh was the definition of white privilege during that hearing, like white male outrage, like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I went to Yale, and like, because he went to Yale somehow makes him like moral. So anyway, for me being on the outside, and I was still trying to tell my kids about it, was it's hard to like, it's really easy to be like, well, I haven't had a privileged life. I've had to do this, this, and this to get to where I'm at today, and blah, blah, blah. And my kids were like, but we've had a hard life. I'm like, no, not really. Emotionally, they've had a difficult life. They grew up with an alcoholic. They grew up with an addict. They grew up, with their father constantly being deployed, and so on and so forth. But to understand privilege, you have to be in a place where you don't have it. Would y'all agree?
Very, very true.
OG?
That's yes. The sky is blue. Absolutely.
Yeah, you and I had a conversation not too long ago that touched on some pretty sensitive topics. And I would love to hear from the other side about white privilege in America. Like to me, I think this is a very important topic, and it's very on the table right now as we speak.
Now, I'll just say, I'll add it. You either have to experience or you have to have it placed in your face in such a way that you can't turn away from it. You have to digest it. I think there may have be people that in their quiet moments, they will acknowledge that they see it, but they don't digest it. In other words, they don't take the time to parse through what they've seen or what they think they've seen in order to be able to understand it. I don't think that you have to know what it feels like to lose somebody. You don't have to actually lose someone. I think that it is inherent that if you do lose someone, to death, that you have a better chance of understanding it. But even in that, there are people that deny the feelings that they have. They deny the emotion. They deny all the things that are swirling around them as if they're not real, but they are. So I think, that privilege is the same thing. There are, persons that have not had a unprivileged day in their life, but they do understand and admit to the privilege that they receive in society.
All right, so there's this picture here that JP's posted, I think. It may not be on page anymore. It's not. But it had a picture of literally teenage black men, right? They're boys, not men. They're boys. And it's like, not a boy, not a boy, not a boy, not a boy, stamped on their faces. And then it has a picture of Kavanaugh, and it's like, a boy, give him a chance. All right. So I think that brings up a really interesting topic. They spread all these, what are the opportunities? What are the chances of a 15, 16, 17-year-old young black man, right? Young black youth, right? Being charged as an adult versus this Kavanaugh being charged or being like, oh, he's a boy, he was making boyish mistakes, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just curious to get y'all's input there on that. And these are really sensitive topics, and feel free to lose your cool about it. I what's the thing here? Like, I know that it is, no one has to teach me, but I would like to learn, as a white man, in America.
I mean, it's crazy. Didn't we just see this with the what was the kid who was supposed to be going to college who assaulted the girl like by the garbage can or whatever?
Oh yeah, the fucking rapist with the curly blonde hair.
Yeah, but he's got a bright future ahead of him. Like, so that's okay. sexual assault because you got a bright future. Like I'm just not understanding the justice system. I'm not understanding anything. Like it's pretty black and white, and not racially, but like how do you just allow this? Like,
but it is racial though, because let's look at the only person to actually, like, during this whole #MeToo movement, there's been one person criminally prosecuted,
right?
And it's Bill Cosby, who's in his
80s. Trying to preserve my outrage to see what's going to happen with what's the other guy?
A little expeditiously.
The head, but he's walking around freely. Like, why is he not?
Of course.
Like,
what is that dude's name? The one this all started with?
Yeah, the head of the I can't even think of his name now.
Feinstein, Harvey.
Feinstein, yeah, that's it.
Feinstein.
Like they have like there's no way he can't be prosecuted now. Like, how are you gonna not prosecute him and justify it for what happened to Bill Cosby?
Because they're not gonna do it. It's not gonna be any justification. It's just not gonna happen. And you're gonna say, and it's gonna be like, swallow that, get over it, keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, how many times can we keep swallowing things? Like that's absurd. Like him, like, I'm not trying to give Bill Cosby a pass, but like, how old is he? And he's like blind. Like, what is he really going to do right now as opposed to Weinstein? He's still capable in my eyes, and he's just walking around.
It's 2018, and we're still living in a world where we make examples of individuals that we feel are less worthy or less whatever, and while others get a pass. That's the privilege. That's it, Daniel. The fact that Bill Cosby, and I'm not saying this to say that he should have got a pass, he needs to, or anything, but he's getting sentenced. And it's people that were sitting in that Senate hearing that have likely done the same thing. I'll put that on my mother, as people say.
So yeah, and with that, like, so does Bill, like, it's the same kind of evidence against Bill Cosby that's currently being run. Like, it's all her word, right? Like,
well, the difference in what they're trying to use as their steam and ammunition is the fact that he drugged these women,
right,
and then committed his act. So they're saying,
but alcohol is a drug.
Did he drug them? Like, did you guys see D.L. Hughley's post? I don't know if he posted on Instagram.
But are there drug tests? Can they prove that he drugged them?
He was saying, like, back then, that's what people did. Not to give it a pass. He's like, in that time, that's what people were doing. They were drugging, and not to say, if you're taking drugs, you have the right.
Listen,
but
I don't want my language or anything to seem like I'm trying to justify Bill. I want Bill behind bars, but I want everyone else too. Like, I want the same sort of justice across the board. I don't want a justice system for Anglo-Saxons, and then a justice system for Hispanics, and then a justice system for African Americans, and then Arabs and things. Like, there should be one system, unified, and it works across the board.
Like, how about?
And that's something that I want to hit at before we move forward. Is, and I'm not trying to cut you off, or I'll let you. The big thing has always been, it's not equality in results. It's not equality in your value of life, or like quality of life, right? It's equality under the law, right? That is the most, and to me, that is the most important thing. Equality under the law, like that. Justice is blind, right? It's supposed to be, and that is not what we see currently in today's society. That equality under the law. Word, you were saying?
Yeah, when the whole Cosby thing started, I thought it was funny, like, the whole where they were like taking the Cosbys off the air and stuff. Like, I used to watch Seventh Heaven, like nobody's business, and the father of Seventh Heaven was accused of molesting like a family member, but that show's still on the air. I don't see him behind bars, and like his therapy can attest to things that she was told. Like, this wasn't like a single incident, but like, where is that?
Right. I mean, it's crazy. As OG was saying, we're in 2018 and we're fighting the same sociological issues that were fought 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Like, we're still considered 3/5 a human.
That's disgusting. It grosses me out. So, and Rep said Zimmerman's out here free, but Cosby's doing 3 to 10.
Well, again, it falls into state laws. He's protected by state laws.
Right. So I saw a picture of him at a meet and greet.
Yeah, signing Skittles and shit.
Signing Skittles packs.
Wow. Disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like I am like, I find this like horrifying that is.
Bro, they're celebrating the kid's death. It's disgusting.
Right. It's a child. Like
I don't know if I'm more mad at Zimmerman for signing or more mad that people want a signature on some Skittles.
It's both. Like you have to like really question your quality as a person to A, sign it, to B, or B, want that sign. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I am. I saw that, and I don't want to hang out here too much on, because I know this area here can, like, it can get hostile real quick. OG, did you have something right there on the tip of your tongue? I see it.
Nah, I was just gonna say, you know what? It's uncomfortable, but you only grow in the uncomfortable conversations. I mean, exactly. I love talking with my family about kicks and all of those things, but at the end of the day, if we really gonna be family like we want to be, I'm not gonna say like we try to act like we want to be. Sometimes you go through uncomfortable shit with your family, and if you walk away from it, then were we really family? Or were we trying to be family? Daniel, these are conversations. Like, I can say a certain thing and it's only going to resonate so far, but you inviting these type of conversations and participating in the conversations and being very clear in what your perspective, from my perspective, that's the only place where the growth can occur. Not the only place, but that's one of the biggest places where the growth can occur. So I encourage what you're doing. That's why I sent you the message, not because I was trying to guide your conversation, but just because, if it did go down, and hey, we made a first today. This is almost like a kind of Talking Kicks Monday Midsole crossover.
It is. It's on my page, so shout out to that. But these topics to me are very important, because like the America that I see currently is not the America or the idea that I bled for. That's not. Like, this guy's freedom to sign packages of Skittles is not what when I'm like, this is the America that I am fighting for. It's not it. It's not it. And I struggle with this idea of like, because like there's a 37-year-old me, right, that looks back at the actions of 27, 25, 22-year-old me, and I struggle with it a lot, like heavily, and it's a weird thing it's a weird place to find yourself, like in my mind, I fought for the freedoms of all people, which we can get down that's a whole nother fucking rabbit hole in and of itself. And I'm not opposed to having that conversation if y'all have questions about that. Like, I think I'm the only one on the panel with military experience. So, what's going on, y'all? For everybody that just joined us, we are all sneakerheads and we all have sneaker things, but we're currently having a conversation about America and its social, whatever Maul said, socioeconomic standing at the moment.
Sociology.
Yeah. So it's like, between this, like, Kavanaugh and the murdering of young black men in the streets, where does it stop, right? And what is it going to take for it to stop? And like, at what point is white America going to be like, there's some shit wrong here? Photosynthesis mitochondria.
I got news for you. It's not going to happen, because even if the general population wants it to change, the people in charge don't. You watch the Kavanaugh hearing; those are the people who basically run the country. Like, we have power to vote and all that stuff, but it only goes but so far.
Right.
And then I think from your perspective, that better than anyone, because you took orders from from those very people. So you know, like the initiatives and what the troops want to do and what they bleed for is far different from the big objective. The real reasons why we're in certain areas of the country.
Right. And so there's a couple things I want to hit. I didn't plan on being live really long, but I found myself in this conversation that I want to have. What I know is that I was my favorite, one of my favorite leaders was First Sergeant I can't ever say his name, Tony, but it's like Antonitis was his first name, last name Knight. He's like 6'8", carved from wood, and he preached this family mentality, right? Be careful what you breed. As a leader, you like how we act and how we behave. Our soldiers see that and they behave in a similar fashion. So we have to be careful what we breed. Like if I'm going to ask a soldier to do something, I have to be willing to do it or have already done it, so on and so forth. And he was so what happened is he was, a Black American. He was from Florida, and when that Trayvon Martin stuff, when that death happened, I watched him fall apart publicly. He had devoted his life. We're talking 30 years of military service. Was he fighting for his people? And and it's sad to watch that happen. For a man that sacrificed gave his life to the United States Army only for him to feel as if his people are not represented or protected.
Right. Listen, man, when it's time to go to bat, go to war and fight, like, I have no problem throwing young Black soldiers out there.
Right. And so
got no problem when it comes to sports, right? When their favorite college teams in the SEC are out there winning them championships. Got no problem with young Black kids then.
All I can say is preach. I mean, that's just facts. It's not, it's not anything that we can dispute. I actually had a chance to not watch because I was driving, listen to some of the hearings with my youngest teenage daughter that is still home. And I was encouraged by the points that she needed to raise questions about, or the comments that were made that should have caught an individual's ear. They did catch her ear. But, to get back to Maul's point and maybe try to meander to the point that I'm trying to make, give me the old guy pause here. I just feel like as I was watching the earlier parts of the hearing that I was able to watch and then listening, and I looked around that circle, and there were very, very few people that looked any different from the next person next to them. It's just a lady here, you got a lady of different heritage there, but on par, it was almost like in those movies when they have the showing of the Greek gods and they're up looking down, and they, one got a beard, the other one doesn't have a beard, but they pretty much all look the same. But the world, this country, let alone the world, looks nothing like that. And we wonder why people are not represented. All people are not represented. Because in the places that have the power that are making the decision, there's no representation.
No.
It's a
lot of taxation.
Yeah. It's it's speaking something, but not really putting anything behind it. And I struggle I'm always going to fall on the side of encouraging people to vote and to participate in that discourse. And you know, if some of you have heard the conversations that Beard and I get into sometime, you know, we kind of bump heads on that. But I understand, you know, the opposing perspective, because if you look at the world, you know, we've only come inches since Dr. King passed away, and we should be miles.
So
and that's depressing.
So, but so you're talking about like people not voting because their vote doesn't matter.
Yes.
Okay. So I was like, so this voter disenfranchisement has gone back, you know, in America, you know, to as far back as, you know, like as far back even before the end of slavery. You know, when before women could vote, before blacks could vote, before, you know, all that, there's always been voter disenfranchisement in the United States of America. All right, and the people in power will always want to stay in power. That will always be the case. People do not relinquish power easily, right? Like, it's not something that people are always willing to do. You know, the transference of power is something that America has done well in the past, where the peaceful transformation of peaceful transfer of power, right? However, what I think the bigger issue as far as the vote goes is our felony system and our criminal system. You know, we use, you know, when we were like, when the slavery was done in the United States of America, we had to find another way to treat people of color as second-class citizens, and they used the criminal system in order to make that happen, right? Immediately, that's exactly what they went to, right? Like, you found Black Americans, newly freed slaves, were being arrested for minimal crimes and getting charged with heavy duty things. And now that they were a felony, they could not vote. And there's a reason that they consistently try to disenfranchise Black Americans with the vote.
Let me ask you to pause right there and ask you why. Yeah. I agree with you 1,000,000%. Why is it only majority? And I know I'm speaking in generalities. Thank you. Now, that only people that look like me or Maul or Word believe that, and other Americans similarly situated like yourself, Daniel, just they don't see that. They can't even digest that. How do I have to serve it so that you could just understand it and admit it and operate as it is as a truth? The same way that if it's raining outside, you're going to put on a raincoat or grab an umbrella. If it's 100 degrees outside, you're going to put on shorts and not a wool coat. Operate that same way.
So, one, I think the education system is the first point, right? Mm-hmm. You know, our children, like the whitewashing of ugly American history needs to stop, right? I think that's the first point. Two, again, it goes back to, if it doesn't affect me, do I care about it? You know, and Americans, especially white America, is not in my backyard, right? So we need prisons, just not in my backyard. And a lot of white people see it, but again, are they willing to say something about it because it doesn't affect them?
Right. No, it's too far removed, out of sight, out of mind, right? So it's not something that they experience, they see, they witness, they get to close their door at night and, you know, be in their own bubble, their own world. You know, that's why there's a ghetto and a suburbia, and the two hardly ever mix, you know? And as long as the system is built the way that it is, there's always going to be this hierarchy, you know, and that's why there's old money and new money, because even when people of color attain wealth, they're not accepted. It's like, well, you're new money. Like, no, you don't belong here.
Oh, and so, Word, you are a minority within a minority. Within a minority. You have a very unique stance about this. You have to. So you're a woman of color operating in the LGBTQ community, right?
With a black son in a majority white community.
Right. So please, like the vote is so important, right? And America has, the people in power in America have traditionally, let's suppress and oppress, black voters, women voters, and especially, homosexual voters, right? So all like you are a three-party minority, and I would love to hear your opinion about the suppression of vote and if it's how you feel about voting.
I mean, I do vote. I mean, after this past presidential election, I kind of feel like, what does it do? If someone wins the popular vote, but still loses the race, I don't completely understand it. It's very discouraging. I mean, I know quite a few people within my community, my family, who no longer want to vote because they feel like it doesn't matter. But it's also we have no touch with politicians and people trying to make a difference. It's we can't connect with them. At a time before, right before Obama got elected, and I was living in Newark, and I don't know if you guys know Cory Booker. He's on the Senate now.
I know he's amazing.
Mayor of the hearing yesterday.
Yeah, he was the mayor of Newark, and I've met him multiple times. He come down to the basketball court, and he was living in Newark, and he told us a story about how his parents didn't want him living there because it was too dangerous, and he's how can I possibly help a community that I'm not living in? So he's a legit good dude, but it's just people don't get to feel that, so people don't trust politicians. It's why should I bother?
I would vote for him as the president. I absolutely adore that man. I think he is amazing. I've watched him, over the past year, with the immigration issues, and now this issue with the appointment of Kavanaugh. It's been an amazing experience to see and hear his point of view. I think they want you to feel
hopeless,
like your vote doesn't matter.
Pretty much.
Not pretty much. It's not pretty. It's facts.
I mean,
facts. You can go back as far as you can. Voter suppression is so important. So when they want to talk about the founding fathers, right? The framers. In order for you to be able to vote, you used to have to own land, right? And there was a point in time where you also. It was almost like you had I want to be very careful here because I could be wrong on this, but slaves were almost a requirement to be considered a man of voting capability, right? So regardless of where you stand today, America was built upon racist principles, and I don't care what color your skin is, you have to know this. You have to know this. So I don't understand how anybody cannot see it. So the thing is what is, moving forward? Now, what I have noticed within the sneaker community is there's a lack of, it doesn't reflect the American population. I haven't seen a whole lot of racist sneakerheads. Maybe y'all have, I have not. And I would love to hear y'all's point of view on that. How can we, as a community within the sneaker environment, affect and get us out to vote? Because and that's something that I would if I'm going to gear this thing toward anything, this particular live is how important it is for us to vote, especially when we have people like Trump that is appointing people like Kavanaugh to lifetime appointments, right? Lifetime appointments. It's so important that we get out there and vote. And even if you don't vote on the same lines as that is fine, or as me, or whatever. It's important for you to get out and vote because of things like this. Voter oppression and suppression has been the goal of those in power since the beginning of the United States. And to kick it back to the felony, and to look at the American prison system. One, it's for profit now. Two, we have harsher sentences based on color of your skin. Let's just look. We'll just look at cocaine. We'll look at cocaine charges, right? You are likely to get a larger sentence for crack cocaine than you are for cocaine, right? And I don't know how many. I don't know if y'all are familiar with this or not. Like
look who's using crack.
Right. Where do you find crack versus where do you find cocaine? You know, and you know, we use like the people in power have used the felony as a way to reduce a community, right? You know, in slave times, when a slave mother would get pregnant, or slave woman would get pregnant, they would almost immediately sell the father off, right? And this is for all the people who think slavery was 300 years or 200 years ago. Was it even 200? Whatever. Slavery was a long time ago. It has no effect on today society. I want you to look at trauma and how it's passed first and foremost, but two, there is still an animosity from my studies and reading between light skin and dark skin, even though it may be. I would like to hear y'all's position on this because I'm clearly white, so I would like to hear y'all's position on this. But like they're always like, oh, the lack of fathers in the homes. You see memes about it, jokes about it, about where's your dad at for Father's Day? Like it's horrible. They're tasteless jokes, but they're out there. Stereotypes, tropes about the Black community. You have this stereotype of a strong Black mother, and all of these were built during slave times, right? And again, that slavery has had a massive thing, and then you still see modern day slavery live and well here in America within the judicial system. So speak on it, share on it, please.
I mean, absolutely. Okay, so two words come to mind: systematic and institutional. Systematic means that it's not haphazard. There are specific things that are done for a specific reason in a specific way to have a specific result. Person of color, man and woman have a child. They are separated. That child cannot be raised properly. They are abandoned. They have sociological issues that are of loss and attachment that are embedded in them based on the circumstance and situation. If you repeat that over and over again, you will have a same or similar result. When I owned you, I could do what I wanted to do because you were my property.
Oh, that sounds so gross.
When I did not own you, but I mean, that's reality. I agree with you.
Yeah, no, it's reality, yeah.
When I did not own you, I want to figure out a way to systematically do the same thing that I did when I owned you. So I choose one or the other and find a different way to separate you. We know that in war, some of the way that you can conquer your opponent is to have them fight amongst each other. So while they are fighting amongst each other, you can do, as the third party, can do other things to systematically pull them apart.
Right.
Where the institutionalization comes is in the thought. We want to continue to be able to affect this system, so we find ways to institutionalize that. We place it in law. We place it in rules. We place it in regulations that affect the same things, the same goal, which is the separation and the disenfranchisement. I don't know. I feel like I need to put down my thesis book or something.
No. That's the whole, I didn't plan on this to turn into this particular type of conversation, but I'm glad that it did. And I always want to if whoever I am, I would always want to open that door of a difficult conversation, uncomfortable conversation.
Right.
You know,
and then you
go ahead, Marlon.
Now I was going to say you touched on a very interesting point. Like even within minorities, within the Black community, there's always been this stigma, this conflict between light skin and dark skin, and it all stems back to, once again, systematic, institutionalized. The fact that lighter skin slaves were treated better than darker skin, so there breeds animosity even within the struggle. You know, they call them the house Negroes, and I'm going to use that term lightly, right? I'm not going to say the actual term, but you know, they were the ones that were in the home, the butlers. You know, they could be seen because they had, you know, a lighter pigmentation, and you know, albeit I'm light skinned, I'm also mixed, right? Half Spanish, hence the reason. But you know, you grow up and you hear that, you know, and it takes a good core, right? A good upbringing, a good home to get past that. And if you don't have that, then you're going to fall victim to what society is telling you about yourself.
Facts. Very true.
Very true. Like I went through it. Like, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm super light skinned, but whatever. But as far as like my dad wasn't really around. He was there sometimes, but it was pretty much my mom, my grandma, and I didn't live in the quote unquote hood. Like most of my family, like my cousins, everyone around my age, they did, but I was like raised in like South Orange and like Woodbridge. So I went to like high school to start in Woodbridge and everything like that. And I would get the whole, oh, you think you're better than me? Oh, you talk so proper, you're talking white. And it's like, why are we tearing each other down? Like when we already got a system doing that for us. Like,
right.
I think that's the biggest trick ever pulled, right? Is you don't even know why.
Exactly.
Right? You don't even know why. Imagine, like, so, I mean, just from my point of view, right? Black America has effectively influenced music, culture, food,
just everything.
Everything.
You can just say everything. There's no need.
Everything. Like our sense, even our sense of cool, right? Which is an idea. It's not even a tangible thing. I can't grab a plate of cool. Our sense of cool has been influenced by Black America for as long as it's been a thing. Back in jazz, the 20s, you know,
the political system.
Right. And how is that a thing where the Black American influence can be felt everywhere except in politics? And how do we change it, I guess, is it? I mean, like, it's a broader question, I suppose, but
cancel people, stop worshiping the wrong things. Like, kids don't want to aspire to be doctors and lawyers anymore. They want to be Little Pump. Like,
I thought that's temporary, though. Like, there's a point where they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to make it as a SoundCloud rapper. Maybe it's time to move to something else.
We hope.
You know, but like the bigger thing for me is, you know, Black America is a major part of America. Like, and to deny that is it's got to be delusional, right?
Well, you think of what's taught, the system. I mean, Kanye mentioned it, right? We're taught to hate ourselves, love the wealth, right? So as Black America, we want things to consume. We're not looking to buy businesses and properties and then, you know, gain economic status, because you're not going to be able to affect change unless you have economic status and you're able to get into the highest powers. So there needs to be something that's institutionalized. Maybe it's LeBron School. Maybe that's the start. Maybe that's the seed, right? Something like that, where you get a community, not just one or two people that are the rows that grow from concrete. You need masses, you need numbers, you need a community to be able to affect change and get to those positions of power where they can then, you know, have a different perspective. We're not going to change if we all think and see the same.
And I think that, you know, like you mentioned LeBron, Maul, like he could have stopped when he got the inward spray painted on his garage or house or wherever that was, or stop with the shut up and dribble. And that's a person that obviously has reached a level of economic wealth that many people, let alone many people of color, will never see.
And influence. And that's why they said it, because they're scared. They see somebody like that and they want to keep him out as much as possible. Shut up and dribble. Like, just be an athlete. We don't want you here.
So to be, when you're in those positions of influence, you got to keep going no matter what, because you become the inspiration for generations. Like, our youngest daughter has been saying she wants to do engineering since she knew what the word means, and she's still on that path. She's actually on her way to NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. So one of my neighbors works there. One of my neighbors that don't look like us, but taking her to a mother-daughter event at NASA. And she hasn't been able to sleep because she's so excited about it. We have to encourage those things as much as we encourage anything else.
Right.
Because that's the only place that the change occurs. I mean, my
daughter's at home.
Yeah.
We'll go out Friday night lights for football, right? We'll do everything we can to get them into basketball camp.
So how important is it for us? Because everybody on this panel is an influencer in the sneaker environment, right? How important is it for us to not avoid these type of topics? That's a question for any of y'all to answer. Like,
okay, old people will start first. I feel like ask and answered. For me, and this is just my personality, I'm ready for this every day, all day, and I think we don't do enough of it. My opinion. That's just me, and I understand that everybody's not comfortable. Everybody, and that's I respect that. Everybody doesn't, some people believe that adage and follow that adage. You don't talk about politics and religion. Those are like, those are off limits. But I just always believe that having the challenging conversations, sometimes that'll give me a different perspective of a person and than I may have previously had if I had not had an opportunity to have that type of enriching conversation. I mean, every conversation does not have to be deep and, drenching with, perspective and all of that. But damn, does everything always have to be about something that's just so
simplistic?
Yes.
Materialistic.
Right.
Like for me, these sneakers have opened up a door for me to have conversation with people that I otherwise wouldn't have. Right. Me and OG, we had a conversation at night. Like, we went a good hour and a half talking about topics that are not normally brought up. And I feel like it's so important for us to do that. And I do not think that it falls on the shoulders of Black Americans to teach white America, right? Like, it's not, it's not on y'all. Like, we have to want change, like there's a point when they have to see it, and that white America is turning a blind eye purposefully. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to read this comment. So somebody say something. So I want to read what Shumanati wrote.
Oh yeah, not there.
Let me see.
I'm gonna read it out loud. I feel like it's hard. You don't want to be the Black person always talking about racial issues, but I think you need to be open and honest. I feel like it just has to be a mood. It works with certain people. So I feel like to not talk about it is complicit, right? For me,
they don't want to talk about it. And that's why the stigma of the angry Black man came about. Right,
but again, I thought that was a tool to turn their volume down.
Yeah, nobody says, why are you angry? They just call you angry and then turn you down.
Right, which is, but there's a reason. There is a massive reason for Black America to be angry. There is a reason for women to be angry. Like,
question should be not angry.
Right. So like I learned like the rape culture, right? I was unaware of this and had to read about it and learn about what it looks like. And it's a lot more prevalent than I thought it was, you know, like, and also I did not realize how racist the rest of the US was, you know, because I'm from the South, right?
You should know.
And I see it on a fairly regular basis. If you want to see, you want to be able to find racist, watch a mixed couple walk through the mall, right? You can identify that here in the South super fast, you know, the looks, the stares. And I think, you know, I would rather have 1,000 uncomfortable conversations. And so for me, I feel like this is something I may do on the regular, is maybe start having these live conversations and ideas and thoughts. Because this is my channel on YouTube. And I'm deeper than sneakers. Okay. And if you don't particularly care for my thoughts, I don't care. I don't really need your money. I don't need your subscription to my channel. I don't need it. I love you, but I don't need it. You know, so, you know, I would like to do this on the regular and have uncomfortable conversations publicly. You know, I'm not afraid to say that I think America is racist in its bones, and that, you know, there are several systems in place, being it the divide and conquer method or the use of the judicial system or whatever to suppress and oppress the Black community in the United States of America. I really do believe that's a thing. At no point do I believe that it's all right for a child of color to hate his skin. And I feel like it's taught. And
it's beyond taught. There's generations of kids of color that have grown up with that in their psyche.
Right. To their hair.
Yeah.
You know, like I will never understand, you know, like in the Army, right? They had this policy for a little while where Black women could not wear their hair naturally, right? Like cornrows were not okay. Like Word's hair would be considered faddish. Not the dye, like the dye would not be allowed, but even the rest of it, like the cut itself, was not okay, would not be okay. They wanted their hair pulled tight back and in a bun. Now, if you're I don't know. I've never been a Black woman. I've never had black hair. So
are you sure, Daniel?
I've checked. I have checked. I've checked, and to date, it has not been a thing. But Word, does your hair naturally pull back into a bun?
Not at all. Like my hair is super curly. So like this is like a natural curl. Like as soon as like I sweat or anything, it's just super curly. But you know, like as a child, it was difficult to manage. So you know, at age 5, my grandmother thought it was okay to perm my hair, and like it's what we go through, especially like as women. Like you don't want to have the, you know, the kinky hair, the unmanageable hair, the hair that looks different from the rest of the people. That's what you're taught. I mean, it's awesome that now natural hair is becoming more of a thing, but you know, the weaves and going to the hair salon and you need your hair to be straight and all that stuff is definitely still relevant.
All right, so shout out to Christopher Parks. That is Peabody _202. If you're familiar, he is still active. He is an airborne brother of mine in the United States Army, also in a crazy sneakerhead with a banana collection. And he says that the policy is still in place in the United States Army. Like, it has to be pulled back in a bun. Now, have you ever felt pressure to have your hair look more white? Like, have it relaxed or flattened, flat iron, or...
Nah, I mean, I feel like it was different for me because I was an athlete. Like, I played basketball since I was 5.
Okay.
So I was just like with the quick like braids or whatever. So it wasn't a big deal. But I have seen like once I got to high school, like I've seen like girls go through it and like, oh, you got like the short little kinky ponytail and like the guys are making fun of you. No guys want to date you. They want the girl with like the long flowy hair or the girl who's like getting her hair done every week. So it definitely creates self-esteem issues. But I mean, it also comes from the home. Like my mom and my grandmother were just like, you are who you are. Don't let anyone change you. So I grew up with that mentality.
So OG, you have daughters.
Mm-hmm.
What has been your journey through this particular topic?
Neither of my daughters have ever had a perm. They've had a blowout, but they've never had a perm.
So I don't know the difference between either one of those.
Perm is a chemical where the curls in your hair are actually relaxed and it becomes permanent. Okay. So even
white people, that's the exact opposite,
yeah,
right? We put a perm in our hair, it gets curly.
I think you guys get white people get a relaxer. I think when it's getting straightened.
No. I don't think so. I don't know. I have straight hair. Anyway.
So
continue.
Yeah. So they've never had that. I think, and my wife would have to give you the her specific reason, but from my perspective, it's equally for the health of their hair as well as the health of their psyche. Because while we honor Madam C.J. Walker and the hot comb and how that changed, hair care, for people of color, at the same time, there's a lot of damage that heat and chemicals can and do to your hair. Even some styles in terms of braiding them, and you see people, both men and women. Look at Stevie Wonder, how his hairline has gone back because of all of those years of braiding his hair and what it takes, the damage that it does to the strength of the hair and the constant pull. But I've watched my daughters both own both their opportunities to get their blowouts and their curly, natural hair. My observation for both of them has been the styles that they've loved the most and felt the most themselves are those natural styles. But they've also had a benefit of growing up at a time where that was more embraced as opposed to the time that their mother grew up or the time that their grandmothers grew up. So, I lived, personally, myself, in my professional life, before I started to lose my hair on my top, I had locks for the last. Matter of fact, when my oldest daughter was born, I stopped cutting my hair. I locked it after a year, and I only cut my hair once during that 15 years, and that was when my wife started losing her hair when she was being treated for breast cancer. And I'm actually thinking about growing my hair back now, even though I don't have it on top. I don't know. Stay tuned to that journey, because there just is a certain thing about, I don't know if all cultures experience it, but I just speak for me and mine. There's a certain thing about hair, especially natural, and doing certain things that it just becomes part of your personality, almost your being. There is a very, dare I say, spirituality about it sometimes that allows, at least for me, to really connect, because I was in law enforcement for 12 years and I couldn't wear my hair and do certain things that I wanted to do because just professionally in the profession that I was in, it wasn't accepted. They tried to make it like it was a safety thing. And okay, if I get in a fight, somebody's going to pull my hair. All right, well, yeah, but if I don't have a butch cut, whether I got it to my shoulders or down my back, it's still, somebody has an opportunity to grab that, but I digress. At the end of the day, I think my experience through my daughters has been a positive one, but I think it's something that you have to encourage them. You know, whether they have a great haircut or a hairdo or a bad one, I always tell them they look beautiful and that they're perfect, because in my eyes they are.
Right.
And that's, to me, what helps to build that self-confidence, to make it past those people that will tell you differently just to hurt you, not because it's true.
Correct. So this was news to me, surprisingly enough, right? When I started looking into the natural hair controversy, right? Like, I was always under the assumption that the ladies would want to change. They just wanted their hair that way, so they did that. You know, I didn't realize that by them having their natural hair, it could cause them to not get jobs, or it could cause them to be ostracized at work, or it could cause them to be all right, Artez, we'll catch up with you. It could cause them to be segregated or ostracized. Like, these are things that I was unaware of. And so, Mal, what is your thoughts process on this? Now, you're a young lady is from mixed heritage, and what is your opinion on this particular topic and how it affects you? Work in the business world, so I'm curious to see what your experience and thoughts are here.
I mean, I have my own different personal journey as it pertains to her. She doesn't have quote unquote ethnic hair.
Ethnic? Is that the correct term for that?
It's used.
Okay.
But her hair is unique, right? It's not straight. It's definitely more on the curly side. In some areas, it's a little thicker because she's got her mother's genes, my genes, which are mixed themselves, right? Being Black and Puerto Rican. So she doesn't have one side or the other. She really, in some places, she's got it all, kind of like my hair. But she's on the lighter side. You know what I mean? It's different. She tans, so she's got a little bit, golden. And some people say they can see that she's mixed. Some people say that they can't. So, and we live in a world where people define you by the way that you look and how they interpret your look. My son, he's going to have it very difficult because we are in a mixed community and he straight up looks white. He's got blonde hair and blue eyes. So he's going to have his own different personal struggle from the other end. You know what I mean? So, in the eyes of society, he's going to be looked in one way. In the eyes of his community, he's going to be looked at in another. And, my friends, for the most part, are Black. He hangs out with other Black people. And that's the culture that he's going to grow up on. And that's the music that he's going to listen to. And, he has a father that's darker. And he's going to connect to that. So my job, my role is to make sure that I don't let them lose sight of all these different aspects. So whether my wife likes it or not, we're watching Roots. That's what I grew up on. We're watching Roots. You're going to know from that perspective, what your history is like, not from the textbook where you see, the image of, whatever hundreds of slaves in rows, like they're drop front containers. So, you're going to actually know what Black America is. And in the same breath, I want them to know what their, my mother, the Puerto Rican side, that heritage, and also their mother, because, it's only fair. So it's just a lot. I mean, it's very challenging. It'd be much easier to just, be of the same creed, so to speak, and only have one avenue to travel. But it's just not the way it is. It wasn't for me. It won't be for them.
Did you guys Napoli Ever After by chance?
Yeah,
I saw it. I actually watched it twice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's good.
So I need to look at that. Napoli Ever After.
Yeah, with Sanaa Lathan. It's on Netflix.
So and this goes back to one of those things where, white America loves to borrow, right? We love hip hop. We love baggy jeans when that was a thing. We love, Southern food, which if you don't like, so a little history for Southern food for you who are not Southern. A lot of what came from what is considered Southern food or comfort food came from the slaves, and it was the cheaper portions of the food. right? Like it was the scraps, it was the leftovers, like the collard greens is the leaves when they would take the like it's the shitty part of the food that was turned delicious, and they're like, wait a minute, they've got something, and they took it and it became Southern food. When if you really want to know, it's slave food.
Thank you for getting to the point of saying that it was the scraps, because that's what it was. Don't get it twisted. It wasn't
right.
cheaper, the less expensive. It was the shit that nobody else wanted. I mean, down to the chitterlings, which
right,
from the root to the tutor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So you're talking about the ass end of the food. What is the worst part? With what's the worst part of this food, and we can give it to them, and here, do whatever you want to do with it. So white America, as I see it and have grown up in it, is real quick to borrow and take. I say borrow, steal, take from the communities. And however, we will never look up at like in this Napoli Ever After thing. I want to watch that because there's something that I don't understand, right? And if I am going to because sneaker culture, no lie, is not from white America. It's not, right? Look at some of the biggest sneakers. The biggest sneakers in my biggest parts of my collection are Michael Jordan and LeBron, right? These are two African Americans, but we will not look at stuff like that. So I want to do that. But I do have to get my my daughter ready to go to hang out with her boyfriend.
Boyfriend, what is that?
Yeah, well, I am not. Because the thing is, when it comes to that, I am not her god. I am her father. So either I get on with Team Gabby or I make her lie to me, right? And I always try to be understanding and recognize that for a brief while, I get to walk beside her as her father. And I'm either on board or not. So, final thoughts from everybody, Maul?
No. Good times, good conversation. Definitely not, representative of the description, but
no, I'm
very much the world that we live in, right? So, good chopping it up, good opinions, good perspective, and everyone have a great Saturday.
Oh my god!
And we're back on Monday with Trinidad James. I'll go everything.
Yeah. OG, final thoughts?
Everything Maul said. Appreciate the opportunity. I hesitated to send you the text, but I'm glad I did. And yeah, everybody have a great Saturday for sure. And shout out to my man Stacy. I'm gonna miss you. And it's still good.
And don't forget to check out Talking Kicks live Wednesday. You can check them out on their YouTube channel. Amazing show. Their t-shirts are dope, by the way. Y'all really do have that t-shirt game down.
That's all Beard. He's the graphic artist when it comes to that. So we just riding on his coattails for that for sure.
That's dope.
Appreciate that.
Word. Final thoughts?
Yeah, this was awesome. It's always good to have an adult conversation where no one leaves with hurt feelings. Everyone can respect everyone's opinion. That's a tough thing. I think that's why a lot of conversations aren't had, because people get in their feelings. But
the other part of that, you brought up a valid point. You talk about influence and everything else, and using that platform as a way to affect change and just raise dialogue. It's an app that we have the influence on. We don't have like a public forum. So having actual conversation where you can hear inflection and see faces, that's far different than me dropping a huge caption and then someone interpreting it the way that they want to because they're reading it. And
for sure,
I think that's a huge gap that we have in regards to being able to use that platform.
So if y'all are willing, I am willing. And if y'all would like to have a Saturday lunch conversation, I am willing to do the same as well. So anybody that's ever willing to join me Saturday around lunchtime to have an uncomfortable conversation, I'm down. And with that, thank you so much for all that joined. I know it doesn't match the thing. We got 16 watching right now, 15 likes. Has nothing to do with sneakers, but it has something to do with the people that I love and I love. It's because it doesn't have anything to do with sneakers.
Can I say one more thing before you hang up?
Yeah, of course.
I just look forward to seeing you guys in Atlanta, and I hope that we do get a chance to link up. I know I missed you when I was there a couple weeks ago, Lister, but definitely I hope we're going to be in the city for 4 days, so hopefully we'll get a chance to link up.
All right. So, welcome maybe to the first episode of an uncomfortable conversation. I hope that we can maybe do this again next Saturday. If not, cool. If so, cool. I look forward to it. I love you all. Bye, y'all.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.